Once upon a time there was a beautiful land. It was the land of milk and honey. In a hot landscape, it had a beautiful river curling her way through. The river was known as Uisce. Uisce came from a land far away, a land of rain, a land of temperate climates. Uisce, her name, means water. And Uisce flowed through this land where the trees grew, orange trees and lemon trees and mango trees, and you could just pick the fruit as you took your early morning walk. You would come to the edge of Uisce and you would sit up on a stone, and it was your job to sing to Uisce, the job of the villagers, the job of her people. And they would sing her a song every morning, and she would be happy as the birds chirped in the trees, as the fish swam, as the animals came to the edge of the water to take a drink. And so life was good in this little village that Uisce flowed through. But over the generations, the people began to get wealthy, and they began to move back from the river. So the children of Uisce moved one layer back and only came sometimes to the river to sing to their beautiful Uisce. And then over time, the children of Uisce moved further and further back from the edge of the river and never came to sing to Uisce, except for one girl who kept the old ways, who kept the old traditions. And we often ask ourselves, why do we keep traditions? She'd sit up on a rock faithfully, singing to the one tendril of water that now came where the raging waters had flown before. And as she watched this one tendril, she would sing lovingly the ancient song of Uisce. And the lands began to dry up. And as the lands began to dry, as is the way of this world, the dark energies were able to come up through the earth, and a Djinn began to form. As the Djinn got stronger, he clicked the roots of the first tree, and it began to rot in front of the people's eyes. As he got stronger still, he took 10 trees out, and they began to get worried. And then they looked at this girl singing to the one tendril in the old ancient river belt. And they came to her and they said, "What can we do? What can we do to turn this tide back?" And she said, "We must all sing. We must sing to Uisce." You can imagine the Djinn was not happy with this, and he did everything he could to make sure that the people could not sing from the banks of Uisce. So they came back from their homes so that they did not have to travel through the roads where they might be taken out. And they came and they made their tents once more at the riverbank of Uisce. And there, every morning, they sang their songs, and new trees began to grow, and Uisce began to come in ever stronger. First she was a small little rivulet, then a stream, then a roaring river, then a bigger river still. And they sang and they sang and they sang to Uisce. They sang everything that was in their heart. And the Djinn got crosser and crosser and meaner and did terrible things and coalesced into a black being that walked the earth, that stalked the people. And they cried to Uisce to help them. And she became a great mist over the river. And she coalesced into a beautiful woman with a flowing cloak. And she walked towards the Djinn with her arms out and her face smiling and peace in her eyes. And she put her arms around the Djinn, and like everybody else, he melted in her arms. He got smaller and smaller. We think we saw a smile on his face before he disappeared. He began to go back into the earth with a sound like this. But he will return. He will return if you do not sing your song to Uisce, to the streams and the rivers of the world, until we realize that without one another, without the water and the trees and the birds and the bees, we are nothing.